Hello students and welcome to the lecture on Introduction to Genetic Operators, the 11th lecture in the lecture series for the course of Introduction to Soft Computing for Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering students of the 7th semester Goa College of Engineering. I am Ms. Purti Savardekar, the faculty in charge for this course. The most commonly used operators in a typical genetic algorithm or GA implementation are selection, crossover, and mutation. In selection, an individual from the current generation is selected to become a parent for the next generation based on its fitness, where fitness functions guide the evolutionary process and the policy of survival of the fittest is generally applied. In crossover, two individuals from the current generation are used to form offsprings in the next generation. In mutation, a single individual from the current generation undergoes minor changes on its entries to form an individual. Let us try to understand each of these operators briefly. Selection is a very important component of GA. In this process, out of a pool of potential parents, only fitter individuals are selected for mating to cross over and form the next generation. There are two possible motives of selection. One is exploitation and the other is exploration. Exploitation is when the selection algorithm concentrates on one particular region in the search space. This means that the individuals that are selected for crossover will have similar characteristics. Exploration is when the selection algorithm explores and identifies other potential regions of the space where optimal solutions could lie. Fitter individuals could lie. Gradient descent can be considered to be an algorithm that disregards exploration and concentrates on exploitation. Gradient descent. On the other hand, random sampling of solutions represents an extreme form of exploration. Exploration, random sampling. Since selection of individuals is based on their fitness, we could take the approach in which we reorder the individuals based on their fitness values and then select only fitter individuals, the fitter ones, as parents. Now, if a crossover occurs between such individuals, only the fitter ones, it implies that all of the individuals in the newer generation will have similar genetic material. If there are no individuals with genetic material different from the parents, it means that we are restricting the search space. We might not then reach the globally best value of fitness, we will reach the locally best value of fitness. This is because diversity is reduced during selection if we take this approach. Maintaining diversity in the population retains the scope of searching wider regions of the search space and it improves the chances of reaching the global optimal solution. Therefore, we realize that there exists a trade-off between exploitation and exploration. And the solution to this is to have a selection algorithm based on probability. The algorithm should make fitter individuals. The algorithm should make the fitter individuals more likely to be selected to become parents, while at the same time giving no guarantee to any individual that they will be selected. In this situation, even the worst member of the current population has some finite probability of becoming a parent, and we want that. We will finally study all of these different mechanisms, the selection mechanisms, in upcoming lectures. Let us now try to understand the next genetic operator, crossover. Crossover is a process that mimics biological recombination. Biological recombination. The role of crossover operator is to generate a new candidate solution by transferring the genetic information from one generation to another. It merges the genetic information from parents to offsprings. The crossover operator works on two parent strings. It merges the genetic information by picking out information from the parents and then exchanging that information using some mechanism. Offsprings generated this way may be worse in fitness, or maybe they might have the same fitness as the parents, or they may have better fitness. The hope is to have individuals with better fitness. We will study various crossover mechanisms in the upcoming lectures. Let us now concentrate on the next genetic operator, mutation. Mutation changes a gene with a certain predefined probability. It is the process by which we try to introduce some random characteristic into the population. In binary strings, we do this by flipping a randomly selected bit. If the bit was originally 1, now it becomes 0. If it was 0, it becomes 1. And so all of this. This becomes the mutation characteristic that we artificially induced into the system. In general, if this characteristic is good, it will stay in the system and survive. If the characteristic is bad, however, it will die out over time. We will study various mutation mechanisms in the upcoming lectures. Let us now summarize the contents that were covered in this video with a simple example. What you're seeing here in table number 1 is the population pool, represented here by the phenotype and the genotype. You can see that the phenotype 11 is actually the genotype 001001. The phenotype 21 is given by 010001. The phenotype 3,2 is given by 011010. 2,2 is given by 010010. 2,4 is given by 010100. 4,2 is given by 100010. This is the population pool. These are the individuals in the population. Now in table number 2, the selection mechanism has selected pairs of individuals for crossover operation. So we see that the phenotype 1,1 and 2,1 will be have been selected for crossover. 2,4 and 3,2 have been selected. 2,2 and 4,2 have been selected. In table number 3, the crossover operation is performed. The mechanism used here is known as single point crossover. So, if the parents are 1,1 and 2,1 and you use the crossover point 2, you observe that you will have two offsprings. The first offspring will have the first phenotype 0,0 retained and 00 retained and 0001 retained from the second parent. And the second offspring will have 01 retained from the second parent and 1001 retained from the first parent. Let us go to the second set of parents. From 2,4, if we consider crossover point as 5, from 2,4, 01010 will be retained in the first offspring and 0 will be retained from the second parent in the first offspring. In the second offspring, 01101 will be retained from the second parent and 0 will be retained from the first parent. If you go to the third set of parents, for the first offspring, we see that the crossover point is 4. So 0, 1, 0, 0 will be retained from the first parent and 1, 0 will be retained from the second parent. And for the second offspring, 1, 0, 0, 0 will be retained from the second parent and 1, 0 will be retained from the first parent. And now this is the example of mutation where third bit in the genotype of 2, 3 is flipped. 2, 3, the third bit is flipped. So now the individual mutates to a 3, 3 phenotype. I hope that the content covered in this video was sufficient to introduce you to the concept of genetic operators. We will continue studying this in the upcoming lectures. Let us continue this discussion now in the Google Meet. See you there. Thank you.